talk now about depression. I'll start from the news that I've seen in the Guardian, that in every single country they looked at the consumption of antidepressant has risen. So it doesn't need to mean that everyone is getting more and more depressed, or people in general get depression, but there is some subject going on.
Yeah, it could be like maybe there is more awareness about the disease now, or there's more doctors who tell you that you are depressed. I don't know, maybe 20 years ago or 30 years ago, if you see, then it was not such a big issue. I don't agree maybe that the number of people have grown, but I think there is an increase in the number of people who are depressed, or they are diagnosed now.
And maybe at least they're taking those kind of drugs.
Yeah,
right?
Earlier maybe they were not diagnosed, or they don't needed the medicines because I think the families were very close. Over the years, the families and the relations and the personal commitments and personal pressures have increased definitely in last 10 years, 20 years, even in India.
Right.
We didn't used to have that much number of patients who were suffering from mental diseases. Okay. People were not really depressed that much.
And once you've seen that people were separate.
But as this growth happens, so-called economic growth, and then it makes you more socially weak, maybe.
Right.
Or maybe more individual, or more lonely is the word.
Yeah.
So that's when you start to feel more depressed, because I think we all need some kind of relations and social connections, and that actually not only makes us happy, but it gives us a lot of support,
right,
which is very important for us to live.
So the cause of that depression could be in the loneliness, feeling of lack of understanding, not having actually social people that provide you love.
Very right. And I think there's a effect of like the media, the television, and we watch so many things which are negative happening in the world. I think they show more negative news,
right.
as I read newspapers, and there's a lot of positive things are also going on in the world. So that is not shown much, and that's why people think that there is a lot of negativity in this world. Everything is going in the wrong direction.
Once they show you a lot of violence, that surely keeps you in distance to the world, because you get more and more into
that creates a lot of fear in you. And then even the movies, sometimes there's a lot of violence, and then now the children have these video games, there's a lot of violence. So I think the times have changed, which has created a disturbance in our mind, or a fear in our mind is the right word. And out of fear, I'm a little bit upset or depressed, Because normally the mind, sometimes once in a while, everybody feels low, everybody feels a little bit depressed. But when this feeling becomes permanent, or it stays for a longer time,
that's when we talk about disease.
So that's when it is called a disease, and that's when we have to really understand. And as I said, support, love, guidance, inspiration. This is very, very important. This is very important. I've been dealing with many depression cases, and a lot of people suffering from mental diseases, and I have seen that just giving them a little bit of knowledge, little bit of guidance, just brings them out. It's not necessary that everybody has to eat those tablets.
Right.
It's not really necessary, because the tablets help you, but they don't solve the problem.
Yeah.
In
they give you a relief.
Ayurvedic perspective, we try to find out what is causing depression, why you are depressed.
So maybe I'll quote this thing from World Health Organization.
Yeah.
Like one of the recommendations that is classed as strong one they have is that antidepressant treatment should not be stopped before 9 to 12 months after recovery. So how does Ayurveda look at this after you have some
maybe because there's no alternate for that, So once they recover, they have to continue, because they kind of also become habitual of taking those things.
Right.
The mind and the brain becomes habitual. So if you suddenly take it off, then you come back into that same state of depression. So that's why maybe they continued, maybe on a smaller dose. But in Ayurveda, we can help these people, because we have alternates. We have natural herbs, we have natural, formulations, which can nourish the brain, which can relax the brain, which can stimulate the brain and not sedate the brain and not make the brain dull. This is the difference again.
Well, maybe those antidepressants are also herbal antidepressants, right?
In Ayurveda, you mean?
No, also in the modern medicine.
No, I think they have they prescribe chemical medicines,
like specifically like the Prozac or maybe.
Yeah, that's because they balance the chemicals in the brain like serotonin and all this.
All right, so
brain chemical balancing medicines, and they also help you to feel better. Mood lifters are there, and there are also things that they help you to sleep better, so you can be more calm. Depending on what kind of depression you have, there are many different kind of medicines. But Ayurvedic approach, as I said, the first thing we have to understand what is the cause. The cause can be outside. Mostly it is outside.
Okay.
Like I had a lady who was suffering from depression, and she was taking these tablets for last 3 years, and then finally she said, I'm still depressed. So I had a consultation, and I was talking to her, and I came to know that the cause of depression was the mother-in-law in the family, because she was always talking very negative to this nice lady who was doing all her duties properly, everything she was doing, but the mother-in-law somehow was not very happy with this, and she was shouting, and you don't know how to cook, you don't know how to do this. So I told this lady, you should send your mother-in-law to me, because she's the one who needs treatment, not you. You are doing everything right.
It's good that in the family, at least she was looking for.
And when I told her this, she completely, she had a different perspective altogether towards the disease. You are right, there's nothing wrong with me. And then I tried to just inspire her. Of course, it took me some months to take her off the medicines. I replaced with natural medicines. So sometimes we have to understand what is the cause. It could be the weather. There's a lot of people, especially in the Scandinavian, you might have heard, during the autumn, and it's like they are always depressed. Seasonal depression. So the weather can cause depression. So you have to see what is the cause.
Many thinking cause of depression. Yeah. I think from what we heard, remember about not letting yourself put you apart from your closest ones, and share love. Thank you.